Well, happy Sunday, everyone. It's time for Sunday Setups with Clayton Allen. I'm the host of the Day Trading Plumber and founder of AllenFx. So, we've been struggling a little bit in the markets these last few weeks, and I haven't quite figured out why. But we have still pushed forward and made some profit in the Telegram channels and as well as my robot auto copy system. But if you're struggling, if you're watching this and you're struggling, that is just part of the game. We have to forget, we have to move on from our losses, and we have to look for the next trade. As long as you don't let one of those losses just totally destroy your whole life, which can happen. So, for those of you that are new to this channel or new to me, welcome. What I do here on Sunday is I go through all of the pairs we trade. We trade all the majors and the crosses, 28 currency pairs. And what we do is we look for supply and demand or support and resistance zones on the daily as a probable area of price to make a reversal in. Now, if price is in between those two zones, doesn't mean we don't trade that pair. Just means we got to drop down to a smaller time frame, see if we're going to continue the path that it's on, or we're going to get a midway reversal or some sort of turnaround at that point. A lot of my strategies, I look for pullbacks, so you could call that counter trend. And then a lot of times, I'll trade after the pullback has happened in the way of the trend. So if you want more information on exactly how my strategies work, jump onto my Telegram channels. I have links in the notes below, and then I post my trade ideas there as I'm taking them. And then I have a paid service where you can see actually all of my discretionary trades that I take. And then if you're interested in an auto copy program where basically your account copies every trade my account does on my robot, visit AllenFx.com. www.AllenFx.com. You can get all the information there. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump onto the charts and see what we got this week. All right, as always, I use TradingView, tradingview.com. It's free. They do have paid services, but until you get your hands dirty and need all those functions, the free one's just fine. All right, let's go down through. Let's start with AUD CAD. Let's jump up to the daily. All right, so I still have an alert here from last week where we think price is going to come down. This is a highly probable area that if we see it respecting this support, let's zoom in a little bit. If we see price respecting support in this area again, we're gonna want to get long. So I'm gonna leave this alert in there, because I still think that's what the best highly probable trade right now is on here. So yeah, we're gonna leave it there. So we have an alert right here that was triggered, I believe. So let's get rid of it. So what we can see is price came down. We have this divergence. We got this push up on the AUD Swiss franc. Sorry, I didn't mention what pair it is. But what I'm looking for now is this type of move. We're in a good pullback from this downward motion, or bullish move. Let me get that tool bag out of there. If we pull a Fibonacci on this leg here, we are right at the 0.38. So we still might get a little bit more move up to this area. Then this would be a great place to take a sell trade. So I'm going to put an alert up here at 66357. 66357, and we are looking to sell. The pullback. All right, that's how it's done. All right, Australian dollar, Japanese yen. So last week we were looking for this pullback to this bearish zone and looking for the drop. So we didn't quite get the drop yet, but we do have this double top. So we got this double top. That would have been a great place to enter, and now we're in 2 bullish candle days. We might see this continue down this week, so this will be something we look for. It's kind of primed, so it's ready to look for the trade. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that one red, and we're going to watch this right on the open and through the first Sunday night. Look for a good trade on a smaller time frame. All right, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So let's see, what are we thinking here? So we had this divergence on the daily. We got that production, and we have a pullback here. So if we were going to be Fibonacci, we had this pullback down to the 618. Not a lot of production after it. So my guess is we should get bullish in this area again. If we get a spike back down to here. But I think if we don't, we may get this pull all the way up to this R2 this week. We have this major divergence on the daily. We haven't seen a lot of production out of it. We broke this resistance here, and it quickly came back down. So what we're looking for here is a push up to this R2 this week. This one is orange. Australian dollar, US dollar. So as you can see, we're on this strong support line here. I'm still looking for price to get up to this missed pivot from last week. So let's move this arrow. I think we're going to get a pull back down, and this is where we need to get bullish. If price comes back down to this area, respects this support, I'm looking for that bounce back up to the missed pivot from last week. Let's set an alert. Let's set an alert right before we get in there. 66850. This is the good part about having the paid service. You can put as many alerts as you want on. And I just put this note in there just so if I'm out and about, I could quickly reference what I was doing on this video. Although I'll see these arrows and quickly know, but it's always nice to just have that in there. Okay, this one's orange because we aren't quite there yet. Okay, so here's a trade that went bad last week. So we have a CAD, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc. We wanted to get bearish in this zone because we had this big push. I thought we were going to respect this trend line right here. Let's just get this out of the way. And as you can see, we had some confusion daily candles here. So we took the sell trade, and it didn't work out. We got this big bullish candle, and now it's coming all the way up and testing that trend line. So let's get rid of this trend line, and we're definitely not bearish here anymore, but we might want to get bearish here. See the tops where price kind of came up, pulled back. We had a turn here. So this is an area where I want to see what price is going to do. I'm not bullish until down here. So I'm going to set alert for right in this area, 74178. 74178, and we're not far from it. We're not far from it. So I'm going to turn this one red. See if we can make back that kick to the balls from last week on that pair. All right, so we had a pretty good channel going on down here. And then we broke through, came back down, retested, and now it's just kind of sideways. We had this breakout here. I still like our bullish zone where it's at. This is turned a few, 3 times on the daily here. I don't necessarily know if bearish. Let's put the bearish right there. It's starting to show that it former support, new resistance. We had a big bearish candle. So if we get another pull up into this region, let's check our Fibonacci. Yeah, it's right at the 0.5 area, the 50%. So it's a really good area if we get another push. If price kind of jumps back up to that top, great place to enter. So I'm going to put an alert right before at 83,086. 83,086. And we are looking to sell. All right. And then, if we get that, obviously what we want to see is a push back down to there, see what price does there, take our profit, possibly reverse and go long again. But a lot of things have to happen before we get there. So this one I am going to keep red because, all right, so let's see. We predicted this pull to here. We still have our alert. Oh, no, that's the price line. So basically where we're at here, guys, this is a great example of had divergence on the daily, hit our bearish zone, great time to sell, came down, hit our bullish. That's why we are bullish here, because it reversed a little bit, came back up to the pivot. If we pull our Fibonacci on this impulse, this leg right here, came up to the 0.5, and now it's on its way down. So I would say we are at a perfect point, just like I put in these arrows here. This is a perfect point to decide, are we going to get a bounce back up, or if we break through strong, this thing could come all the way down to this S2 level, and that's where I had that arrow before. So this one we're going to turn red because I want to see if we get a break, if we bounce up, or if we get a break. Pretty sure the price is going to go sideways on a smaller time frame for a little bit just to trick us out. So I don't necessarily need alert. I'm going to watch this one right out of the gate, look for this bounce. My gut tells me we're going to get a bounce here. But like I said last week, I think the JPY is due for some strength. We have the coronavirus, equities markets getting a little choppy in the U.S. It might be time for a big run on the JPY. Just my feelings, just kind of what I'm after 10 years of trading, how I'm feeling the JPY right now. Euro AUD. So we were looking for a bullish bounce here. Obviously, we didn't get it. And we saw some definite weakness in the euro last week. So we're not bullish. I'm not bullish. This isn't a bad place to start. Look at all these where we had this bullish push, had all this, another bullish push. So this isn't a bad place where people will have either stop losses or take entries. And let's just kind of break down supply and demand, right? So if you really break it down, and what you're asking yourself before you put a trade on is, where is this an area where people are going to be, if they're in a sell trade, where are they going to take their profit? Probably here. If they're looking to buy on this pair, where are they going to enter those buys? More likely here, right? This is a great spot where people would be putting orders. Now you can see it's starting to get really confused. Prices getting really confused right here. So I'm going to set an alert. So if we get, I'm going to put it right on the former week's pivot, 60,846. We'll be looking to buy. Not necessarily though. If we get a strong breakdown to that level, I love it down to this level. Look at this strong support. So we'll just have to see. This is one to watch right out of the gate. So we're going to turn it red. Euro, Swiss franc. All right. So, man, this one is hit the support all the way back to February 2017. 3 years ago. So, obviously, we did not get this bounce. I was looking for a pull all the way back up to this pivot. That's why we have this alert here. Let's get rid of that alert. So now, look at all this divergence. Don't necessarily want to be bullish. Let's see if we get a pull back down to this, which we just kind of looked, is that strong support all the way over here. Look where this flash crash dipped. Price eventually made its way back to that level. And then now we're sitting right there. So my counter trend trader feelings definitely think we're definitely going to get a push back up to that pivot, last week's pivot. But this is a very cautious trade. You can see Thursday's price was bearish, and we had a bullish push right back to the top. So this is one we want to look at what price is going to do right out of the gate. A really safe trade would be let it come back up to the pivot, take the sell from there. But that you're waiting quite a bit. So I like this bullish where we're sitting. If we jump down to a smaller time frame right now, you can see price came down. Now it's kind of, if we get another push back down to this area, this will be where I get bullish. I'd be bearish right here, back down to it. All right, let's go to British pound, euro, or euro British pound, sorry. All right, so you can see we had this push, big turnaround, came back up to our bearish zone. Excuse me. We've had this slowly declining move, and then we broke down right here, and this is where we want to get bearish again. Look for a push back down to this area, get long, or you could have a really bad break right here, and this thing's going to the moon. But you can see right where we're sitting right now is where price is failed. It all the way date back to 2016 to break below. So it's a highly probable area. It's a big decision-making area. So keep your eye on this pair, and we'll just have to see what we're going to get here. Let me get my chart right. So I like looking for a long in this situation. However, if you get a strong bearish candle through this zone, it's short for a while. And look at all this fundamental this week. So, this one I'm turning red. Euro JPY, strength in the euro. We have our strength in the JPY. We had a lot of weakness in the euro. Look at it last week. So I'm not necessarily bullish. There's no reason to be bullish any sooner than here. We're not in the sell trade, so not a good time to get in a sell trade because we've double bottomed on RSI. So a good play here would be some sort of pullback up to this former support, and that's where we want to get bearish. So I'm going to move my bearish right there, and I'm going to put alert right here at 119.973. 119.973. Bam. Let's turn this one orange. Euro NZD. Another bad trade from last week. So we were looking for this pullback to get into our bullish zone. It did. We got a little bit. I think we even closed this for some profit. Like I've said before, even though it didn't get all the way to my take profit, if I'm in enough profit and I see a daily candle like this, I'm already in profit, I most likely just manually close it, take my profit. It's stalling out. I may get long again if the next candle breaks this high, but this one didn't. So we got this bearish candle through our bullish zone. So this is null and void. If you following me here, and I don't necessarily think we could call this area bullish. Because the euro is so weak, I'm not going to be bullish till I see a really probable area right here, or I start to see some divergence. But some of you trendline guys might make this case, right? So maybe right here at this trend line, see what price does. But this one I'm going to play safe, wait till it gets down here. I'm not necessarily bearish till right here. I'm getting rid of this alert because it's in no man's land. All right, so this one we're just going to have to wait and see. If I had to throw a prediction, here's what I'd like to see before I take a trade on here. Push back down to either all the way down to here, would be awesome. Or if we start to see respect on this trend line, we'll look for a bounce up from there. This one I'm going to leave orange. Euro, US dollar. All right. The pair, oh man. So the pair that is just messing everyone up. A lot of people got long right here, especially because look at this daily candle. So price action traders, support and resistance traders. Let's get rid of some of this noise. Great place to have gotten short right here. I think we even did in my Telegram channel. We got short here. We took our profit when we got here. It was awesome. And this is one of those scenarios where you go, why didn't I let it run? Why didn't I just let it run? I could be in this sell trade from here and just be the hero. That's the psychology of trading. We can't always predict the future, and we take our money when it presents itself. So I still like bearish where it's at. Look where we're at on our side. We double bottomed here. We just got to stretch. Knowing this red line I have here is support all the way back here. 2015. I mean, now that that's broke, I mean, I kind of like this area right here as the next target. But man, that is one hell of a push. Let's zoom out. Yeah, that is a big push. More than likely, what is going to happen here? Uh, if you're stuck long this pair, which I am on my robot account, we hope for a push like that. If you do get this push, man, get out of that long, because we could be seeing a scenario where we're going to get that type of action. Um, I don't necessarily think this push was strength in the U.S. dollar. However, the dollar's the safe haven currency. I think it's more weakness in the euro, and we just don't. This is a really risky buy trade. If you're not stuck long already, don't get stuck long. If you, this is a really good area to get short. So I'm just gonna put this thing down where I see these supports. I want to get bearish right here. I won't be bullish. So I'm going to move this alert right here. And, I'm not. Here's why there, right? If I do Fibonacci, even though I didn't put it on yet, that's right at the 0.38. We may even get a pull all the way up to here, but I kind of want to look at what price does here and catch it there, because I think we're in a big bearish trend here, and we're not going to get much of a pullback. If it only comes to the 0.23, those of you that have followed me long enough, I feel like if price pulls back, only hits 0.23, how I play off that is I look for the double bottom after a 0.23 pullback. I don't think it's strong enough pullback. I think it's turning into consolidation, and you start to see a double bottom consolidation at this range. Just how I trade Fibonacci. Not sure if anyone else out there teaches that or not, but it's just from my experience. If price rebounds from this exact spot, comes up to the 0.23, I'm looking for that major reversal, and I won't necessarily be a buyer there, but I'll wait for a big push back down to this zone. Kind of triggers that zero mark as buy entries. Just to give you a little thought of what goes on with me. So this tough pair. It's a good one to watch. Obviously, it's the most liquid pair in the Forex. So we're gonna just see who wins this week between the bulls and the bears. I know a lot of people are stuck. I know a lot of traders of mine are stuck long on this pair, waiting for that pullback to get out. And then a lot of people that aren't in this pair are salivating over catching this buy. So we'll just have to keep our eyes on it. I'm going to leave it red because it's such a volatile spot. So you could see our prediction on EuroCAD. We were looking for a bullish bounce here, and that is definitely not happening. We had this indecision. If we took that buy trade on this wick, we would have had a little bit of profit. But I still like this play. We just have to wait for that confirmation of where. Let's just put it right there. We just have to wait for that confirmation of where this bounce is going to happen. So we're not in this pair, so no reason to jump into it. But I will get bearish if it comes back up to here. Really bad time to jump into a sell trade, by the way. Wait for a pull, some sort of pullback, or a push down to this former support line here. If we come all the way back, we're starting to get into these support zones right here. But man, that was a long time ago, people. So Yeah, the euro is just not performing well. British pound AUD. Okay, so overall structure is bullish. We have this big bullish push. We still have our bullish alert here. We were playing it a little safe. Price came down, and now we're starting to see this push back up to the pivot. And those of you that have followed me long enough, you know how I feel about pivots on British pound pairs. They just love anytime price gets far away from the pivot and you see a smaller trend line break towards the pivot, is a great trade back to that pivot for the week. Now, I still like where we have our bullish zone. Maybe I'll move it here. If we get a pull back down to that area, we'll be looking to buy, or we might be looking for that break and sell it down to these S2s. I'm not bearish to all this R2, so I'll just scoot it over a little bit. Let's get this over here. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at with this pair. So British pound, Canadian dollar. So we were in this upward trend, still kind of following it. I like where we have our bullish and bearish zones still. So I'm going to leave this one alone. I kind of want to be a buyer if it drops down to this area. Let's move it there. That's where the last 2 weeks of action's been. So let's see what we get here. British pound, Swiss franc. So kind of forming a head and shoulders pattern here. You guys see that? So here's what we were playing on. Shoulder, head, shoulder. We had a break of that neckline, and then, man, did it trick us. Came back up. It's testing our bearish zone now, and then now it's broke through. So one thing I would tell you about this pair is I find this pair has a lot more false breakouts than other pair. I mean, just look at this head and shoulders pattern, break of the neckline. Haha, just kidding. Back up. Okay, we're going to go. Aha, just kidding. Boom. So now that we have this break, I still think I'm relatively bearish all the way up to this area. So if we get a solid break of this area, this thing could go to the moon. However, we could be taking a sell trade from up here. I'm biasly still in some sell trades on my robot account that I'm fighting out of this with this pair. So maybe that's biasly making me look for that sell. And, you know, we're all guilty of that sometimes. If I draw a trend line across that downward action, maybe we get a test of this. Those of you that are looking long, you get a test of this. Good place to go long. I'm going to look for the sell trade up here and hope that's the time it breaks this consolidation pattern. Just what I'm looking for. All right, British pound JPY. I still think we're going to get that strength in the JPY, people. And when we do, it's going to be a good play here. So let's get rid of some of this noise and readjust. I like bearish zone there. We have our bullish alert. So we just missed it last week. You see it right here? Came down, didn't quite hit it. So I'm going to move this up a little bit right there. And I want to sell from this former pivot right here. 144.282. 144.282. Looking to sell. So basically what we're doing is we're buying and selling between these two ranges until we get a really big breakout. price is sitting in between there, so it's going to stay orange. British pound NZD, same thing. I'm looking for this double top to sell from up here. That's why I have it right before. I still like that play. I'm not going to be bullish until we're out here. British pound. Let's turn that a little orange. All right, British pound USD. So we were looking to get bearish here on a pullback, but look, we broke through. So this play is pretty much over. And so now I'm not going to get bearish again till I like it there. We have more. Let's take a look here. So I'm going to put an alert at 32,411. Looking to sell. Bam. So that's where I'm going to wait for. We could throw a Fibonacci on this if we think this was the bearish play. Yep, price is right at the 618 right now. So, you know, one might think we're going to pull one of these right on the pullback, and that's a great place to sell. So, you know, back to that analysis paralysis that I talk about in my podcast. You know, you can look at the market a lot of different ways. I want to wait for a highly probable trade, and I think that is up here. I'm not going to get caught into, I'm going to miss this sell trade and get caught and ride this thing all the way back up here. So, especially British pound pairs lately, I kind of want to see it pull. Price didn't get back to its pivot, so it may get all the way back up here, and I may switch to being bearish from the pivot. But we're not in any strong structure. You know, I guess you could call this an upward trend. However, if I draw bottom to bottom, you can see we broke through. Is this the retest of that? And now we're going to get that downward side. Who knows? The Fibonacci on this downward tells us that we could be right there. So we could see bearish action from there. Just one to watch. The more I poke at this pair, the more I'm talking myself into a sell trade from there. All right, let's look at NZD Canadian dollar. All right, so this was a great target. We had a missed pivot. We had a head and shoulders. You see this? Head and shoulders. Head, shoulder, shoulder. And then we had a break in the neckline. A retest of that neckline. That's why we're bearish here. And then last week we were looking for a push here and a bounce up. I still like this idea. So here's why I have two arrows. I'm looking for a push down. We're going to see what price does at this missed pivot. And if it starts to respect, we're going to play long, or we'll play short if we get a strong bearish candle through. Price didn't get there last week. We had this strong push up, and then now, you know, bearish down. Almost got back to its pivot last week. That's what I was telling you guys. If you go midweek, right? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. See this Wednesday? So Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, if you see price this far from its pivot, you could have traded this trade back to the pivot. It's quick. Usually it happens in a day or two, and, you know, you get that push. I still think now we're going to see bearish action, and I want to see what we're going to do right here at 84,803. We'll just put watch. Okay, let's see. Is this one? This one's orange. NZD CHF, kind of the same play, right? Price shot back up to its pivot last week. I'm going to look for it to come back down, and I want to get bullish here. I want to get bullish there. I know that's counter trend, right? But look at this support area. We had divergence here, came up. That's why I'm looking to get bullish here. Is if we get a push all the way back down here, one other thing to look at, draw a line across these bottoms. May decide right here to get long, but that's what I'm looking at on this pair. Let's turn it orange. NZD JPY. We were looking for a drop from that point. I still like it. If we get a pullback up to this zone, I want to get bearish on it, and I'm not bullish all the way down to here. Strength in the JPY follows our narrative on that pair. NZD USD, I think we called this push quite well. I like our bullish zone where we're at. If we get a push back down, I will tell you guys, here is the scary part, right? Here is obvious downward trend. Got that pullback. So if we use our Fibonacci tool, 0.23, remember what I was telling you guys, 0.23 pull tells me we're looking for a double bottom scenario here. So I'm going to be looking long at 64020. Bam. I like it. I like it. So I'm going to turn that one orange. USD CAD. All right. So we kind of have this really strong resistance. We got there. We actually took sell trades from here. They're closed already for profit. But look at, we have this missed pivot down here. So I like price to continue down to this missed pivot. It might get a little pullback or retest. If we do get a retest of that area, I'm getting short again. I'm getting short again from up here. Where it's sitting right now, I might just keep selling this pair all the way down to this missed pivot. I'm not necessarily bullish. Might pull that up to there. Not necessarily bullish till I see what happens here. USD Swiss franc. All right. So we were looking for a bearish action here. And look at what we got. We got big push. However, it shot all the way up to R2. Now I'm going to be looking bearish there for a decent pullback. Possibly down to this little area. If we use our Fibonacci tool, retracement tool, that's the 318. We might get a pull all the way back down to here. Then if you take this sell trade, great place to take your profit. But if we get rid of this noise, I'm going to look to get bearish here. More or less, if I don't take the sell trade, I'll look for this pullback. And if I see on one of these Fibonacci levels, it's respecting a support, I'll get long from there. It's kind of what I'm looking at. Okay, good old USJPY. So we have our bearish zone. It's respecting it last week here. We're kind of in this consolidation phase still, but I'm still looking for this pair to have a good drop, at least down to this bullish zone. So I'm short this pair. I'm still stuck in this spike down here on the U.S. Iranian conflict. I got short on this big push down. I got short right about here on my robot account, and endured this wave. So I am biasly looking for this push down. So that concludes this week's Sunday setups. Don't forget to hit like, follow, subscribe. If you like this content, got questions and comments, throw them in the comments section below. I love doing these videos. I love hearing from the people that watch them. Even if you disagree with me, throw some comments in there. I'd love to know what you think. And don't forget to check out my podcast called The Day Trading Plumber. There's a new episode every Sunday. I talk about my experiences transitioning from a full-time plumbing mechanical guru to now a full-time Forex trader, supporting my everyday life off of my winnings and how I have turned this into my business. All right. Have a great week, and I will see you in the Telegram channels.